Hey there, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of the OverMark Podcast. I'm one half of your dynamic duo. And speaking of our other half here, I need to introduce you to our other co-host, man guy. Folks, he's got the propane personality of a Sir Hank Hill, but don't let that fool you. He's one half of the powerhouse duo that is the OverMark Podcast. He's going to see Slayer again, whether you like it or not. And if you think that you can out-DPS him, you got another thing coming. And one more thing, don't even think about looking at him crossways. Ladies and gentlemen, my partner in crime, Dave.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. Thanks. That was a wonderful introduction, TJ. It's good to see you, you know.
They liked
TGIF.
it. Yeah. It seems like they
Happy
liked it,
Friday.
man. Whoever that was.
Yeah. Yeah, they did. And apparently we're pretty funny guys too.
Oh, wow. Who would have thought, you know?
Yeah,
But yeah, no, it's Friday. I'm going to be working tomorrow, but it shouldn't be bad. It'll be a little bit hot, but it'll be over before you know it, and I'll be home relaxing. But that being said, we're going to be talking about Raw today and Dynamite. Raw was Monday at 9/8/25, and then Dynamite was 9/10/25, and then we got a little bit of wrestling news. That being said, follow us on all of our social medias for a little bit more OverMark content if you want to check it out, and that'll be at OverMark ENT. Well, we got the link tree in our biography, our bio, whatever you might want to call that thing there. But I think we're going to jump into some of our quick result wrestling stuff that we do every week. Whether it's by popular demand or not, I'm not too sure. But we are going to be doing it, and if you're listening to it, you better pay attention. Because if you don't, nothing's going to happen. But I'll sound threatening about it.
We won't know.
Yeah.
But we'll know.
Yeah. Well, we might find it. We might come over there like the Jay and Silent Bob movie, you know, where they show up at the end with all the list. Yeah.
The list, yeah.
But anyways, we got another list here too. If you want to, maybe jump into that. But it was Raw.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm waiting for him. No,
well, what list is that exactly there, TJ?
I know, but that was the attendance.
Getting buttons.
Of 8784, and they had a setup for 9449. So they probably had about 600 left. And it was the Fiserv Forum at Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Fiserv, what is that? Like some medication company? Like Fiserv?
Fiserv.
But we got this quick match. We got the quick match results here, and that's Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in the LA Knight opener. So that was we usually don't do the promos, but it makes sense in this one because it's like as important as the matches, right? But this wasn't bad.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the same thing every week, but you just slot LA Knight into it instead for somebody else.
That's true. It's been kind of a paint by the numbers with these few gentlemen, even though there's been a little bit of a teasing of some potential dickheadedness from Jay, but probably not. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Never.
And speaking of fine, I found out what Fiserv is, and it's a global financial tech company that specializes in payments with solutions for banking, global commerce, and merchant acquiring, billings and payments, and points of sale. So why don't you give us a sponsorship there, Fiserv? You know, you could go to their website, fiserv.com/TJ and Dave.
Oh yeah, and you'll get 20% off on nothing yet.
Yeah, because we're not sponsored, but maybe.
Yeah. Yeah,
someday.
and maybe. But I don't know if that's their demographic, what we got going on, but maybe it will be by the
Probably
time.
not.
Yeah, maybe it will be. But what we're at, the AJ Styles defeating El Grande Americano. This was a good match. I don't really like this El Grande Americano as much as the Chad Gable one. So we do have
Right.
that going on, but it was a good match.
Were it not for another segment that ends up being the high point of the night for me, this easily could have been AJ. This was a good match, and did you get to catch his promo that they shot off air that they uploaded on YouTube?
Yeah, he's like, somebody
Like it's
doesn't
supposed
want
to be
me
like a
here.
worked shoot.
Yeah, yeah.
It was good promo.
Yeah, they're trying to do that thing that it's like similar to when what is it? Kevin Owens beat up Cody out back, and it was filmed by fans, so they're trying to do something similar to that. But then we had probably the highlight of the night with the AJ Lee, Becky, Seth, CM Punk segment. It was some really good stuff.
Yeah, they have it figured out and dialed in, and I heard on another show, it's escaping me the name of it. Not that I wouldn't say it on here. They've got a way bigger audience than us, but I can't remember whose show it was. But they were talking about that. Punk and Seth are apparently really good buddies now. Like,
Yeah.
they're going out to eat together and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
I mean,
hanging out in the back.
right. So where to where this rivalry is probably just entering its sweet spot, and I mean, as long as these guys stay healthy, they can do this for a while. And probably some of the best storytelling is going to involve the bulk of these people for at least the next couple of years moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. It was a classic. There's different styles of wrestling and promos and all this, but if you're really into the WWE stuff, this was as good as it gets. And then we got Raquel Rodriguez defeating Lyra Valkyria. It's good. They're starting to give her a little bit of a push, and she's starting to look strong in the way that she wrestles. So I can't hate on this.
They had her working big. It looked she's looking good. She's improving quite a bit. And I didn't hate this match.
Yeah, same. And then we had Rusev defeating Penta. I don't hate Rusev as much as everybody else does, but this wasn't. The crowd was somewhat into it, but not really sure where this is gonna go.
Crazy about Rusev, and I do like Penta, so I didn't like this.
Yeah. Well, something else that I'm not sure if you liked or not was Asuka defeating Nikki Bella via submission. I wasn't too hyped about this. It was kind of like a match that you would have seen, I feel like, 8 years ago pretty regularly on this show for the women.
I could take or leave Asuka. I know that she's good. I understand. But I'm not crazy about her character. I don't know. That's probably my problem with her.
Yeah, and she has a good look and everything, the makeup and stuff, and it just seems like she I don't know, just seems like they just kind of have her floating around. But then we got the main event here with Big Bronson Reed defeating LA Knight. This was a serviceable enough match. It was good. It was what you would expect from these guys, because Bronson Reed or Braun Breaker are always in the main event on every show, it seems, anymore. And this kind of is complimentary of what we talked about on the opening segment. It's just more the same kind of.
Yeah, pretty much a paint by numbers finale.
Yeah.
It shows that they have a lot of faith in these guys. They did the AJ Becky Seth Punk segment at the 9:00.
It seems like Seth Rollins is kind of removed from them right now. Maybe he'll join when it's more convenient, but he's not. He hasn't interacted with them in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I was seeing some dumb reports that people are like, they've silently split them up. They're not a group anymore. They're still a group. There's too much storytelling to do right now. They're basically all on side missions right now, essentially.
Yeah. It kind of funny, but it's good stuff either way. But my high point here was I want to kind of we've been parroting each other a lot, so I've been wanting to kind of do some different things. So
well, it's hard to not sometimes.
I know, but so I put at the after match Vision beatdown only for the Usos to repel the attack, and then Jey Uso delivered a spear tonight as well. So I feel like it's finally some kind of new direction with Jey Uso, and maybe something happening that is a little bit more interesting than the stuff that we've been seeing. So that's good.
Yeah, they kind of teased the heel turn or whatever. I don't think that they should turn him heel though. I mean, the guy's selling merch. He's super over. It's not good idea.
I think it's shades of gray.
Yeah, that's better. Like if he's kind of like a tweener type of thing.
Well, I think he'll go
My
back
high
to
point-
acting normal. Sorry.
I-
I was just saying, I think
you're
he's going to
good.
go back to acting normal and everything. This is just a little bump in the road. Pretty normal for human
Yeah.
beings to mess up a little bit.
Right? Nobody's perfect.
Yep.
Even Jey Uso. Well, my high point ended up being the segment that we all gushed about, the AJ, Becky, Punk, Seth segment. I mean, I'm big excited for this program. It like where I was saying when we talked about the match, there's a lot of story that they can tell here for a lot of years. You know, we could easily see this for like, 1 to 3 years, not of them continuously working together, but having a program or two together, a year. It's one of those easy stories to tell.
Yeah, I agree. But that being said, I will move to my low point here, and that's Asuka defeating Nikki Bella. This is just, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. I don't think anybody else was feeling it that much either.
Yeah, that was definitely the bathroom break match. It's unfortunate that because it's not always like that, and I don't want the people to think that we think that the ladies' matches are bathroom breaks, but that particular one is. I don't know.
Yeah.
My low point was Rusev defeating Penta. I don't really want to see Rusev, especially beating Penta. I don't know. I feel like his return has been largely kind of. I don't dislike him or anything. He doesn't do much for me.
Yeah, well, I know a lot of people that feel that same way. And we'll move to the ranking here, and I gave this a 4.
No, well, I give it a 5. I thought it was just average.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. I think I'm a little bit harsher on some of these shows sometimes than you might be, at least with my overall rankings. But, according to a lot of people, 4 is a 5, so what's the difference, right?
Right. I guess that does make sense. But, 5, you would say, oh, that's a straight average. Whereas 4, you'd be like, well, they dipped below average. A 4 ain't, a 5, it ain't, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair statement there. But if you want to take us into this AEW Dynamite talk right here, you can get this out of the way.
Well, we're going to go ahead and do that, I suppose, here. We had the AEW Dynamite from, what the hell was the date? I didn't put it on here. September 10th, 2025. I almost said 2011 for some reason. I don't know what's going on in my brain.
It doesn't matter.
They had the sellout of 9/16 at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They're consistently selling it out like we had hoped that they were going to do. And it looks like the fans there are having a good time, I will say, which is more than I can say for when I'm watching it. But, people are liking it somewhere. And now here comes these quick match results. We had a grudge match. I don't understand how these guys can be having a grudge match. I didn't even know that they were in a feud. Right. We got the AEW World Champion, Hangman Adam Page, defeating the Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander of the Don Callis family. It's all right. They're doing what they can with these two guys, I guess.
If he's a walking weapon, I wouldn't want to buy that because it'd just be ineffective all the time and never get the job done.
I will say that I'm getting more used to seeing Hangman with the title. Like it's not offensive when I see it now. It's like, all right, he's their champion.
Well, it's not even that's the problem. It's just like it just doesn't feel like a big deal. It's just kind of like just some guy up there, and I don't know. I just can't think of like any match of his that I'm gonna be like, man, I'm really looking forward to this. And I'm not saying that the matches are gonna be bad or not. It's just, it's he just doesn't bring that excitement for me.
That's a fair description, I would say.
Yeah.
And moving on from that match, we had a tag team match of Riho and Alex Windsor defeating the TBS champion Mercedes Moné and Emi Sakura in a match that people probably wanted to see somewhere, but not people that I know.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna crap on anybody here. It's just it's hard for me to get.
We'll get to that.
It's hard for me to get excited about Emi Sakura and Riho. Not even saying that they're bad or not. I'm not big fans of either one, especially Sakura. But it's they're not on the show regularly. It's just some two random people, And I don't know, they don't do a package about them. They don't, they don't do anything. Just strange. Hold on, take on over. I gotta yell at these dogs.
Okay, well, we had the next match. Ricochet defeated Shelton Benjamin of the Hurt Syndicate. I kind of like this match. We talk about this regularly. We like Ricochet. We like Shelton Benjamin. We like the Hurt Syndicate. I was kind of surprised to see Ricochet pick up the W here.
Well, Shelton Benjamin's the jobber out of the group. He's the guy that's always losing.
Yeah. But speaking of Shelton Benjamin, I know I keep referencing other shows that I can't remember where I heard it, but they were talking about he's got a big old hog. So good for him.
I didn't want to hear anything about that, but I appreciate the update.
I figured since I knew it, other people would have to know it too, and you can share in knowing things that you don't want to know.
You got a lot of farm animals or something?
I don't know. I wish I could remember what show that I heard that on.
It's not a big deal. Just keep on going.
Yeah. I can't remember anything. We had a Philly street fight with the AEW Women's Champion, Timeless Toni Storm, defeating Skye Blue. And, I like this match. I like both of these girls. There was probably spots that they didn't need to do on this because it's on TV and not a pay-per-view. But, I mean, she stapled her in the ass. She stapled her boobs. She stapled her in the crotch. Skye Blue on Toni Storm. That was crazy. Got a good pop from the crowd.
I don't know.
I'm not crazy about them using the staple guns on each other, but I guess if they want to.
It wasn't like the worst match or anything. It was a pretty decent one, I guess, for both the girls. But it's just kind of weird that it's like Skye Blue's. I know she just got hurt and everything, and she came back. But man, they don't have anything for her, do they?
And then I was kind of concerned for Toni a little bit when they did the mousetrap table spot. Because you saw that the table didn't break, and then when the table flipped over, you saw that the supports were still attached to the table. So, whomever wasn't smart enough to gimmick up the table like every other table spot that they've had or that has been in wrestling for the last 25 years.
It does happen occasionally.
Hopefully, there's not too severe of an injury there or anything at all, really. Yeah. It looked painful, though.
Yep.
Well, we had AEW Unified Championship Tournament announced.
Yes.
And I don't know.
They
love their tournaments, their money matches, and their multi-man matches.
Yep. You should see the lineup that they already have on it. I should have brought it up so it's funny, man. But in the end, they have a lot of tournaments, and I'm sure the matches will be good and all, but it's just, I don't know. It's just going to be Okada winning again, so what's the point?
Okada. Well, speaking of money matches and multi-man matches, the next match is both of those in one, if you can believe it. We have a $500,000 10-man tag match. The Death Riders, consisting of Moxley, Castagnoli, Yuta, and they teamed up with the Young Bucks, and they defeated the tag team champions Brodito, old Bandito and Brody King, and the AEW Trios champions, the Ops, and it was Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Shibata. I mean, honestly, the match wasn't that bad. I'm not crazy about the Death Riders or the Young Bucks.
Well, I mean, and it's just one of these another all-star 10-man, 8-man, 500K tag matches. It's just, they say the stories put in the ring, and everybody that's in these stories, they're all intertwined, and it's like they're not. You're just having them have a match, and I don't know. There's really no narrative change in the match besides we're just beating each other up, and I want to beat you up. It's not very personal. There's no heat involved, and there's way better ways to tell stories than cramming everything in one because you have an overbooked show.
Well, it's just what we get every week, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to say about that, but
not much.
We'll move on to high point, low point. And my high point for the show was Toni Storm versus Skye Blue. If you've listened to the show at all before, you know that I got much love for both of these gals. So, that was cool.
Mine was the MJF promo. I'm going to give that to whatever he's involved with in this show.
Yeah, it's hard to just not say MJF every week when you watch AEW because he's noticeably better than most everything else on the show.
Yep.
Yep. Well, my low point was the women's tag match. I just not a fan of Riho. Haven't been a fan of hers since 2019 when I first saw her, and it's reminds me of like my little Japanese sister out there beating somebody up. It's not. I know it's supposed to be entertainment. It's not very realistic.
We had the same
Yeah.
one this week. I also had the same low point with what was it? Riho and Windsor versus Sasha Banks. I know that's not her name, and Sakura. Yeah, it's there's a lot to not. You just let's just not even talk about the action in the ring. There's nothing to get invested with. I want to be invested in my matches and care a little bit. And when you have people that aren't on the show regularly, and I'm sure Emi Sakura will be on a couple more times this year, and Riho will be there for another month, and she won't be there. And whether the match is good or not, I don't really care about. I just want the long-term investment, and that's just not something that'll be here for me. And it's just another person for Moné to defeat, which is fine. I'm sure the story will lead somewhere with that, but not a lot to sink your teeth into, like I was saying.
Yeah, it's a fair assessment. Well, we'll move on to the show rankings, and we're going to get accused of living with our mothers and whatever other kind of insults people like to say about personal attacking us based off of these show rankings this week. I gave it a 2. There's not a lot for me to get excited about and sink my teeth into here.
I also gave it a 2, but I gave it a living in my mom's basement 2 because that's where I want to be. I wish.
I mean,
I wish I was living in mom's basement.
life would be a lot easier.
Yeah, it would. But
Well, speaking of the basement, we've got some news here today.
And I got news for you.
for some reason, Ice-T didn't
wow.
pop up today. That's weird.
Are you sure? Here, let's.
I
check one more
heard
time.
it. I heard
got
it,
news for you.
but he
Oh, no,
didn't.
there he is.
He didn't pop up
Weird.
the look for me. Maybe
Huh.
maybe I did something. Maybe it's my fault. Either way, he's here. We heard him. He's here in spirit, and he'll be there with you physically if you chant his name 3 times in a row. Like Beetlejuice. But
Wow.
I'll start us off here with these reports if you want.
Yeah.
That sound good? Okay.
Sounds good to
so,
me.
we had a little bit of an update on this today because we were going to just report on before it was confirmed, right? But now it has been, and so we got a report here, and it's a little bit more than a report. I mean, this is all confirmed stuff. It just happened. But WrestleMania is heading to Saudi Arabia in 2027.
Oh, well, TJ, the cat's officially out of the bag here. WWE just went live from Las Vegas earlier today to confirm that WrestleMania 43 is indeed headed to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in 2027. Joe Tessentor opened the broadcast standing from the front of a shiny new WrestleMania 43 logo and then rolled out the parade. Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Stephanie Vaquer, Logan Paul, Seth Rollins, and then, of course, Paul, Triple H, Levesque to seal the deal.
Yeah, we got a picture of them up here. They sure looked happy, didn't they?
Yeah, man, it looked like somebody peed in their breakfast cereal or something.
I've seen
you'd think they'd
happier.
be
I've seen happier people at funerals.
Did you get to watch any of the streamer or anything? Did you see any of the comments from it?
I just saw that you sold out, blood money, all the typical stuff that you would
Yes.
expect to see on this. And
Yeah, it was like spammed of it.
I mean, Charlotte, it's hard to see her expressions these days, but it's pretty straightforward how she feels about this. I mean, Stephanie Vaquer, it looks like Logan Paul's going to cry. But sorry,
Yeah.
I know I diverted
No,
this away
you're
there a
good.
little bit.
Well,
So, no, that's me. So, that's one way to drive it home. We're going to bring out every star that you've got and then cap it off with the Saudi sports minister, Turka Al-Sheikh. Smiling ear to ear, they wanted to make sure that nobody missed out on this message. WrestleMania is leaving North America for the first time ever, and the Saudis cut the check.
yeah, Triple H gave his little history lesson on WrestleMania and then handed it to Al Sheik, and you could almost hear the cash registers ringing. And, they're doing that, of course. This wasn't a wrestling announcement. This was a press conference for $1 billion deal. And the wild part is the report floating out today. Saudi officials are trying to get The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin on the card. Like they're flipping through the Attitude Era catalog and saying, yeah, give us those two.
Yeah, and the word is that The Rock could face either Cody Rhodes or Roman Reigns in a main event, which basically means that they're putting him at the top of the board no matter what. Nothing signed yet, but if Saudi money's in play, that you know that they're going to be in heaven, they're going to move heaven and earth to make this happen.
Yeah, don't forget, this is just the peak of the long build. WWE's been tied to Saudi Arabia since 2014 when they first started doing those live shows. Then came the greatest Royal Rumble, then Crown Jewel, then 2 or 3 stadium shows every year. This is just the next step, the grandest stage of them all in Riyadh.
And before we even get there, they're getting the 2026 Royal Rumble, so they're going to be locking down all the big dates. Meanwhile, next year's Rumble goes back to the Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. It's going to be 2 years in a row there after WWE pulled it out of New Orleans. So that's a new TKO strategy right there. Who's got the biggest checkbook? Not like what's the best venue, what's the best history, just that money.
Yep. Well, the site fees over sentiment. You could tell where their priorities are. If Vegas is paying more than New Orleans, the Big Easy gets ghosted. If Riyadh is willing to drop Saudi oil money, they get WrestleMania. That's the new playbook.
Yeah, so bottom line, WrestleMania 43 is Riyadh bound. The Saudi government got what they wanted. WWE got the payday, and fans are left to figure out how exactly you travel halfway across the world for the supposed biggest weekend in wrestling. I hope you got those frequent flyer miles, I guess, because this is going to be expensive. If you thought last year or the WrestleMania that's coming up and whatever, all the ones that aren't the Saudi ones, they're going to look like a joke compared to this. It's going to be nuts there.
I don't know how. Well, no, people will definitely travel there for that. I just don't know how many actual tickets are going to be available.
I mean, they have the UFC events there, and they sell a lot of them, and a lot of them aren't the Sheikah people and the guys you see wearing like the white outfits. People spend a lot of money to go to these events, and that's what they're trying to replicate. The UFC commands a higher ticket price than the WWE does. It's just that it's only for their big pay-per-views. WWE's pay-per-views don't have as much intrigue as the UFC ones do right now, but I'm sure that with a card like this, they're going to. It's going to have all the big names. Stone Cold will be there if they pay him enough. So will The Rock. So will Undertaker. So will Shawn Michaels. Anybody and everybody, if they somehow try to get Sting there, they could probably make that happen if he's not with AEW anymore. But any and everybody, money's not an object. And if you want to see a spectacle, they were putting out that this is going to be the biggest spectacle that you've ever seen.
This will probably be the most amount of money spent on a talent for a WrestleMania of all time.
I'm looking forward to it. The nostalgia acts still work. They don't pull them out as much as they used to. So having a big event that's a lot of that, well, that's been something that we've been watching for a while.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're to where, that it's kind of getting hard to bring these Attitude Era guys back because they've all,
Destroyed.
they've really aged out. And, like AJ Lee just coming back. We're to where, PG era people are making returns now. That's where we're at in life.
Yeah, I mean, they used to bring Stone Cold back when he was like 45, 46, 47 a lot. That's just, that's how it goes. Eventually, Reigns is going to be the guy that they're bringing back. Eventually, it's going to be Seth Rollins, but we're not there yet.
No, right. That's 10 more years from now.
Yeah, it is. But we can move on 10 more years in a theoretical timeline here, and we're going to theoretically talk about this watch-along that we're going to have here. And that's with Kevin Nash, and he's talking about Bobby Heenan's, but whose side is he on? You remember the comments when the Hulkster was walking out and everything, and they weren't sure if he was going to, they were sure that he was going to be helping the good guys, and then he turned heel. Well, this guy had to be the smartest guy in the room, like always. But so we're going to roll this clip of Kevin Nash talking about Bobby Heenan, maybe spoiling Hulk Hogan's heel turn at Bash at the Beach 96. He gives his take, and let's just say it's classic Big Kev. So we're going to play this here. Let me pull this up in 3, 2, 1.
Not to do this.
Yeah, because you don't know he's going to do it until he comes through the oh, yeah, this was the doesn't work for me, brother years. Yeah. So
Yeah, I mean, so I mean, I mean, the only one that knew for sure that he was going to do it was Bobby Heenan. He just didn't know whose side he was on. So,
but only when the mic went hot.
Yeah.
Did he not know.
yeah, but whose side
Kev
is he
can't
on?
hold it together here.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Bobby
That
was
laugh
the
says
best,
it
but
all.
Good God, Bobby.
God, that was
that was a bad one.
Like if
that
he's
was
saying
as-
this is
as
the worst
bad
example of going into business for
anybody going
yourself.
into business for themselves as I've
Yeah,
ever
see?
seen. And he's passed long enough now where I can finally spill that one out. That was fucking rotten. Every time I watch that clip back, because like right now it'll get played because it's the anniversary
Yeah.
of it. You'll hear that and it's just like, oh fuck, man.
You become
Oh, that's funny. I mean, everybody had a huge problem with that back in the day. This isn't anything new, but yeah. So, anyway, Bobby Heenan didn't just kind of nudge the surprise here. He kind of drop kicked it through the curtains. Hogan's not even halfway through the aisle, and Heenan's like, "Whose side is he on?" It's like, "Thanks, brain. That's subtle as a brick, huh?"
It's like watching a magician set up the trick, and then his assistant just yells, "Hey, there's a rabbit in the hat."
Yeah, and Nash makes a good point. Anybody else does that, and Bischoff might have had them strangled backstage. But Bobby was so good, so much of a legend that, like, what are you going to do? Like, you kind of have to just forgive it. And honestly, it kind of adds some drama when you rewatch it. Like, maybe Hogan's really here to screw the outsiders. I don't think there's a positive way you can spin that, but sorry.
It's just Bobby being Bobby. But yeah, that's the thing. Heenan was so naturally skeptical of Hogan that it weirdly fits the story still. Kev's right. It's probably the biggest example of someone accidentally going into business for themselves.
Yeah, and leave it to the brain to spoil the biggest angle in wrestling history and somehow make it more entertaining. Only Heenan could do that, right?
Sounds like Bobby.
Yeah, it's funny because as a kid growing up, you this was before the internet was widespread, so this was on like the old dirt sheets, which were terrible. But your YouTube wasn't around, and eventually YouTube did come around, and you get all these U-shoots, and you had people asking Bobby about this here and there, and he would play coy about it and act like, "What are you talking about? I didn't know." And then Eric, I think a couple times said that he kind of wasn't a fan of it, but what can you do? Hulk Hogan kind of laughed it off as well, because it's the brain. But this is 100% him going into business for himself. Bischoff even said this, that like, oh, Bobby has to always be the smartest guy in the room. And some people are like that, but back in the day, you would have never thought that he would be coming out there to, be a bad guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Biggest heel.
Yeah, it was Bash at the Beach '96. Hulk Hogan turned heel for the first time and joined the NWO. Widely considered the most important real heel turn in wrestling history. It shifted WCW's fortune and kicked off the hottest period in the Monday Night Wars. Pretty cool stuff, I think.
Sold almost more wrestling shirts than any wrestling shirt in history. It sold more bootleg T-shirts, I think, than any shirt in history, regardless of wrestling or not. Some wild stuff, huh?
Yeah, I think as far as official merch, only DX and Stone Cold was past them. And I mean, you don't really see more DX shirts now. You still see NWO and Stone Cold shirts, though.
100%.
I mean, you still see DX shirts, but
Not the
it's
same.
not. Yeah.
No, Austin's still like the best seller on their website in a couple months here and there throughout the year. It's some good
He's so
stuff.
good, man.
He's making those royalty checks. But I think it's kind of ironic that we talk about some royalty checks, because we have another report here, and it's somebody that we like talking about, but maybe not in the usual light that we do, and that's Hulk Hogan leaving behind nearly $5 million in assets. So, Dave, you better sit down for this. Are you sitting down?
I am. I'm ready.
Okay, so same here. So the estate of Hulk Hogan has officially hit the news. According to Us Weekly, of all places, the Hulkster left behind nearly $5 million in assets. And if you're thinking, wait, wasn't this guy supposed to be one of the biggest stars of all time? Well, welcome to pro wrestling finances, brother.
Yeah, $5 million for Hulk Hogan, the man who headlined every show that ever made Vince McMahon rich, carried the business through the 80s, sold out the Silver Dome, and leaves behind less than some mid-card UFC fighters are clearing today. That's just not just shocking. It's kind of depressing.
Yeah, well, Nick Hogan. Yeah, that Nick Hogan. filed court papers to be the co-personal rep of the estate, along with some guy named Terry McCoy. Brooke? Yeah, she's out. She's not listed as a beneficiary anymore. So Nick is the sole heir, and Hogan's widow, Melanie, is the surviving spouse. The paperwork says that Hogan's will was written back in 2016 and then tweaked like 4 or 5 different times through 2023. So the guy was constantly revisiting who gets what.
And what exactly did Hogan leave? Well, try this on. About 200,000 in crypto, which means he might have got scammed on Dogecoin. Almost $800,000 in personal property and intellectual property, and $4 million tied up in his rights to publicity. That's basically the Hogan name and likeness, the brother brand, plus the mention of some mystery value connected to a possible malpractice lawsuit. So we're talking assets on paper, not giant piles of cash.
That's pretty typical. And get this, the real estate, it's not even listed. This man had 2 side-by-side homes in Clearwater Beach worth $11 million, and they're not on the paperwork. So either they're in a trust, an LLC, or Nick just conveniently forgot to include them. I bet you he signed them over to Nick's name or something.
Yeah, well, something. Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out. And if all that wasn't enough, Nick's also suing over a documentary he filed in federal court to block the release of Video Killed the Radio Star, the untold story of the Hulk Hogan sex tape scandal. Yes, that's the actual title. You can't make this up. He's claiming copyright infringement, trying to protect his dad's trademarks. Meanwhile, Bubba the Love Sponge fires back with a, "I don't even own it. You're suing the wrong guy, you dumbass." That's a direct quote, by the way.
I don't know. I'm sure that there's a reason that they're suing him. I doubt a lawyer would jump on this if there wasn't some pretty good cause that he's going to make money here. I'm sure they will,
Yeah.
but what are they going to take? The guy's worth nothing anymore. I'm pretty sure.
He's got nothing. I could tell you, I've been in the Tampa area my whole life. He's broke now. He's not. He's on like AM here. It sucks. You know.
It
used to be cool back in the day, man, when Hogan was on his show all the time.
Not anymore. Hasn't been for a while. But
Right, long time.
Kind of like, only in pro wrestling do we get an estate battle, crypto, Malibu Barbie mansions in Florida, and a sex tape documentary all rolled into one probate hearing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, but I don't know. I hope Nick somehow does get his money. I don't wish any harm on anybody, so hopefully it only maybe go get some business that did something, because if they did something wrong, I guess it's worth it or whatever. But I don't want to hate on anybody. I don't want to speculate on some stuff that may or may not be true. We know they're suing people. We know what Hogan's worth was, and it's just kind of sad that he would have a lot more if his wife didn't take a large chunk of his money back in the day.
Yeah. And then get plowed out by Nick's friend.
Yeah.
What a terrible person.
Yeah, well, and then did you see like after his whole deal and his passing, like she was talking about how like she loved him forever and all this other stuff. She's like, did you love him when you were doing that with the one guy, or I don't know. I'm sure Hogan cheated on her too, so let's not even jump into that.
Nobody was perfect, I'm sure. But anyway, speaking of different things in the news, we have a report of Jerry the King Lawler suffering another stroke, but is already on the mend. So we've got some sad news out of the wrestling world, folks. Jerry the King Lawler, as I had just said, suffered another stroke. TMZ Sports broke the news, saying that it happened last Friday, so a week ago today, I'm sorry, while he was down at one of his homes in Florida. I didn't know he had a home in Florida. Luckily, his daughter stepped in fast and got him back to his main residence, where he's now focusing on rest and recovery.
That's tough to hear, He was supposed to be at a Horror Hound weekend in Cincinnati, but then they announced that he wouldn't make it due to personal matters. I want to meet him one day for sure. Fans were wondering what was going on, and now we know. Another health scare for the King.
Yeah, this comes not long after he had his knee replacement surgery. So between the knee, the rehab, and now another stroke, the guy's just been through the ringer. And there's one thing you can say about Jerry Lawler. He's always bounced back. The man's tougher than a Memphis parking lot brawl.
Yeah, it feels like it's like some of that fighting spirit that's keeping him going, He's a guy that's been doing this for decades, from Mid-South Coliseum to the WWE commentary that he did for such a long time, did an awesome job at, and he's still taking appearances even in his 70s. The fact that he's already talking about easing back into normal activities says a lot about this guy.
Yeah, and of course, the wrestling world's been rallying around him again. Fans, wrestlers, people online sending their love and support. Lawler's always been polarizing, but nobody can deny his impact. And right now, it's about his health and recovery. Get well soon, King.
Absolutely, best wishes to the king. Let's hope that he takes the time he needs to heal up, because if anybody can fight through this, it's Jerry Lawler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're wishing the best for him, man. He's like an old tire, man. He's tough. He's not giving in. We always hear him say, he's one half of mine and Dave's favorite commentary group of all time, with him and JR, and he's probably the best heel commentator ever. Maybe it's Bobby, but I think it's the king.
One of the voices of our youth,
one of the best heels of all time. He could do any role in wrestling, I believe. Just an all-around super talented guy, and we're rooting for him.
Yeah. Get well soon, King.
Well, we're going to talk about somebody else who may need to get well soon here, and that's Paramount reportedly planning a full buyout of AEW's TV partner, Warner Brothers Discovery. Yeah, so buckle in. Don't sit down. You already sit down on this one. You're going to need to buckle in.
Oh, boy.
Yes, this is a wild one here. According to the Wall Street Journal, Paramount Global is reportedly preparing a majority cash offer to buy out Warner Brothers Discovery. You heard that right. Paramount wants the whole enchilada. Warner Brothers Studios, TBS, TNT, their entire cable portfolio. If this goes through, the TV and streaming landscape gets flipped on its head.
Good Lord. So we're talking about Skydance money, Ellison family money, Paramount Plus money, all backing this play. That's not just a merger.
Yeah.
That's a media invasion. Imagine CBS and Paramount suddenly holding the keys to Warner Brothers and all their TV networks. That's not just consolidation. That's a monopoly power-up cheat code.
And here's where wrestling fans start sweating. AEW, right now, they're living on TBS and TNT Warner networks. If Paramount buys Warner, then all of a sudden AEW's in the same corporate backyard as UFC. And remember, Paramount just did a deal to bring UFC content to Paramount Plus and CBS. That means that WWE, through TKO and the UFC, already has a football with Paramount. So you've got WWE content on one side and AEW hanging by a thread on the other.
And that's the nightmare scenario. Paramount's got their shiny new UFC and WWE through TKO, and then you look over and you see AEW. What's the incentive do they have to keep Tony Khan's side project on Prime TV if they can pump their energy into WWE content instead? AEW could go from being Warner's darling to Paramount's baggage overnight.
Well, it's kind of funny too. I think they just lost their CEO in Warner Brothers Discovery, so that's why all this like splitting up's going on in the company, and that guy was like the guy that liked the AEW stuff. So now that the guy who likes the AEW programming isn't there anymore, they might just not have as much of a foothold as they did before they made that deal. So keep in mind, Warner just restructured into two visions, like we just said, one for traditional cable and one for studio and streaming. And now it feels like that move was just setting the table for a sale. It does a lot. And if Paramount takes the fork, AEW's entire future on cable gets thrown into the blender.
Look, this could turn into one of the most competitive content war wrestling have ever seen. I don't know why I can't talk. And AEW could get squeezed right out of the picture. Best case, they get rolled into Paramount Plus as a niche attraction. Worst case, they're told to pack up and find a new TV partner. And good luck with that in 2027 when everybody's already tied up with streaming exclusives.
This is why AEW's TV rights were always their lifeline. Now those lifelines are tangled up in billion-dollar corporate chess moves, and Tony Khan might need to make some calls and make sure that that all these networks. Let me go back to that. So with WWE on all these different streaming platforms, where would they even have the option to go? This is the only one that they can be on.
Yeah.
So he might have to make some calls to even survive and not be on YouTube or what is Honor Club. They might have to make their own streaming platform to even show stuff at some point. It's going to be survival at the network level here.
Yeah. Bottom line, if this buyout happens, Paramount holds both WWE and AEW cards in its hand. The question is, do they play both or fold one? I mean, AEW, they would probably be getting rid of it. And honestly, that AEW would land somewhere like a YouTube or something. they would figure out something.
Tubi.
There would be a way for people to watch it.
Tubi or something. Although I think what is it? The CW, which is on Tubi, that's their streaming platform, but the CW is tied to Tubi, so it's like they can't even go on that.
Wow.
Yeah,
It might end up on like the Roku network.
I'm sure that that's owned by one of these companies.
Yeah.
Like it,
Yeah.
like they might have a rough time coming forward. Now, maybe they wouldn't get rid of them. Maybe they are more lucrative of a property than we know. But it's just like, if you're tied in with like Nick Khan's like he's good friends with like the guy that's running Paramount. Hey, you got to get these guys out of here.
Yeah.
What do you think they're going to do?
Piece them right on out here. Well, thank you guys. We're just not interested in your product anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm sure they have an out clause if they want to say it, like almost every single one of these companies do when it comes to these streaming deals. They don't exercise it a lot. You see the out clauses more in like sitcoms and like traditional TV shows, but that's even on the live stuff too.
Yeah. I mean, these networks will dump you if they think you're not profitable,
They will.
or if they don't want your property on their TV.
Absolutely will. But I think we can dump this episode to the finish column if you want. You got that ready today. All right, so we're gonna be doing the SmackDown and Collision episode, the next one. It'll be Sunday or Monday. We've been kind of flexing them a little bit, but we'll bring that to you as soon as we can, and it'll be filled with all the action and all that stuff that you guys have come to enjoy in these podcasts and new segments and episodes and all that kind of junk that we do. And we're gonna want you to check out our social media and at OverMark ENT. Check them out. If you like this, check out more of our content. We got plenty of it. I appreciate you, Dave. We're gonna do the usual circle jerk before we get on out of here.
Hell yeah. Much love, TJ.
Yeah, I
Appreciate
you.
all your hard work this week. Hey, speaking of, how's your back doing?
It's a lot better. It's funny, even when it doesn't hurt as much, it's just like so stressed from your muscles being tense that you just feel exhausted. It's like the muscles are just used
tired.
up. Yeah, but it's feeling better. It's just been a lot of beating my body up this week, but luckily tomorrow I'll do it, and I'll get some good money, and then I'll be able to rest up Sunday, and then I'll hopefully drag my butt through the next work week, and hopefully I won't be working that Saturday, but if I do, I'll gladly do it. Yeah, I appreciate you. Like I said, Dave, I'll be talking to you right after this, so yeah, we're not going to be too far away from it, but I'm going to sign off.
We'll talk soon.
Yeah, I'm going to sign off. You'll say bye, like always, and then we'll get on out of here.
All right. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next episode. Have a good weekend.
Oh, wow. All right. See you guys.
DJ's yelling at a gift, Dave's eating crab. We skipped our bills to watch Raw live and ranked 800 wrestlers just to survive. Our muscles are fake.